Hey y'all, I'm Emily and welcome back to Bamboo Base, where I find peace in my garden and joy in my kitchen. It is literally freezing outside and I have no desire to be outside today, freezing my hiney off. So I'm going to stay inside where it's warm and to make something comforting, warm, and delicious for the hubby. So today I want to make good old Southern chicken and dumplings. To start your chicken and dumplings, you need to start with chicken broth. Now you can purchase it from the grocery store or you can make it yourself. It's very easy. So that's what I'm going to do today. And so the hubby and I went to Sam's Club last night and we just picked up a good old rotisserie chicken. It's great meat, tastes great, half the work, and it's a good price. So I'm just going to take the carcass and put it in my pot with just some good old water. I'm just going to fill it up and let it cook on very, very low most of the day today. Um, Fun little fact about me is I do not touch bones. It's gross. I just, I don't. So the hubby took pity on me and deboned that chicken carcass and got all the wonderful meat off for me. And so, yeah, I'm just going to dump this in my pot and fill it up with water and let it simmer on low for several hours. So there's still meat on this chicken carcass, and that's okay because it's going to, you know, come off of the bones and just flavor the broth even more. Um, so I'm just going to fill up this pot and get it on low. So this is a 7-quart Dutch oven pot. It doesn't really matter what pot you have as long as it's a good thick bottom so it doesn't scorch or anything like that. So yeah, this is going in the 7-quart Dutch oven pot today, and I'm just going to turn it on low and let it do its thing. It's currently noon, so I'll probably let this simmer for roughly 2, 3, maybe even 4 hours. And then I'll bring y'all back and show you what it looks like, and then we'll continue making the chicken and dumplings. All right, y'all, so it's now time to start sauteing the vegetables for the chicken and dumplings. Now, my husband prefers just for me to use the celery and onions. So I have roughly 5 stalks of celery already chopped up, and then 1 medium to medium large-ish onion chopped. The chicken broth has been simmering for several hours and it looks and smells amazing. I'm just going to push it to the back burner. And then in this pot, I'm going to put in half a stick of butter and get that going on medium to medium high heat. I'm going to saute the celery and onion. So this is going to cook down and get nice and tender. It's only going to take roughly 5 to 10 minutes on medium to high heat. You want those onions to be translucent and very soft. Because one thing that I can tell you about my husband is he hates biting into a crunchy onion. Alrighty, so the vegetables, the celery and onion, are tender. They smell so good. So now that they are soft, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of fresh minced garlic. Now you can chop your own, or you can take the shortcut of buying it pre-minced. And I'm going to do, well, it's more like a tablespoon, just a normal spoonful. Let that garlic cook for about a minute, just to let the flavor compounds bloom. And so now at this point, I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons of butter and then also some flour to make a roux. So I'm going to get that butter nice and melted. Now when you make a roux, make sure you cook your flour taste out of it. It doesn't take long at all. Just a little bit more flour. And so now it's more like a paste consistency. I'm going to turn this down to low to medium, depending on your stovetop. Mine is set on the number 3. Alrighty, so it's now time to use that yummy chicken broth and start making our chicken and dumpling mixture. So I'm just going to do several ladles full of this yummy broth into my pot. And then I'm just going to take my whisk and get it all mixed together. This helps thicken your sauce, and just gives it a good consistency. All right, so I'm just going to alternate between ladling out the broth and then putting it into the other pot, and then just mixing it up. All right, so I'm going to turn up the eye for the chicken and dumplings to medium. So for my stovetop, it's 5. And now I want to add that rotisserie chicken that my husband deboned for me. I'm just going to add probably 3 cups of chopped chicken. In this bowl, it was 2 chickens, so I'm only going to use about half. So just 1 whole rotisserie chicken. But we like it really meaty. Alrighty, so the chicken and dumplings is just going to do its thing on the stove top for just a few more minutes, and now it's time to work on those dumplings. I'm going to give this a quick little stir. Alrighty, so not only am I going to make chicken and dumplings, but I'm going to make biscuits as well. It's going to be the exact same recipe, just in a different format. So I have a cast iron skillet here. I believe this is a 9-inch, maybe. So I'm just going to put some butter in it and get it preheating in my oven. All right, so in the oven it goes just to start preheating. I'm going to turn it up to 400 degrees. Sorry. To make my dumplings and my biscuits is going to be 4 cups of self-rising flour. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4. Ooh. Get that put away. And then it calls for 2 teaspoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. Now we're going to cube up 2 sticks of butter. Now there's several ways you can cut up your butter. You can just do little pea-size pieces with your finger. You can chop it up. You can grate it. Myself, I just like to take a good knife and then slice it several times. This is nice and cold butter. And then I turn it on its next edge and do the same thing. And then just chop it to get pea-sized amounts. And do the same thing to 1 more stick of butter. Alrighty, so now I'm just going to take my Danish dough whisk. It looks like this guy. I'm just going to incorporate that butter into the flour, try to break it all up into good equal size pea-sized pieces. This is what's going to give you good, nice, thick, fluffy biscuits. All right, so I'm now going to take that cast iron skillet out of the oven so that butter doesn't burn. Just nice and toasty brown. All right, so now we're going to add 1 1/2 cups of half and half, or you can use buttermilk. But I very rarely have buttermilk in the house, but I always have half and half because that's what I use for my coffee. So 1 1/2 cups of half and half is going into my bowl. And I'm just going to get everything mixed together. Just still using that Danish dough whisk. Now I'm going to try not to overmix it. Just get all of that flour nice and evenly mixed together. All right, so that's about the consistency that you're looking for. Not too overly sticky, like it doesn't want to stick to my hands. All right, so I'm going to take a little taste of the broth and just check for the seasonings, see if it's where I want it to be. We're close, but it still needs something. So I'm going to add in probably about a tablespoon of garlic salt. About a half a tablespoon of black pepper. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of poultry seasoning. I'm going to give that a quick little mix. All right, so I'm going to get another little taste. Oh, much better. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more of the poultry seasoning. And then just a little bit of salt. All right, so to add some creamy consistency to the mixture, I'm going to add roughly half a cup of half and half to the pot. It looks and smells amazing, y'all. All right, so I'm going to crank up the heat to medium to high. So on mine, it is between 8 and 7. And I need to now start cutting out those dumplings. All right, so I'm going to take half of this mixture and make biscuits, and then the other half will be dumplings. So I'm going to just dump it out onto this mat. So I'm just going to gently push all this together to form one big mound of dough. All right, so now I'm just going to take my biscuit cutter and cut out 4 biscuits. I don't know. She'll have to compete pretty hard. That's that models are pretty good. And so these biscuits are going to go in a 400-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Now the rest of this dough is going to be turned into dumplings. So I'm just going to smush it all back together and then cut it into strips. All right, so now I'm just going to take my pizza cutter and cut it into strips and then just slowly drop them in, just one at a time. I'm going to cut these strips into roughly an inch width. And then I'm just going to smush them in between my hands and then slowly drop them in. This will help thicken your chicken and dumpling mixture and just makes it perfect. Alrighty, so your dumplings are going to start floating to the top. Just keep giving it a stir, and it takes roughly 15-20 minutes for that dough to cook and not be raw. So I'm going to let this continue simmer, and I'll see you when I'm finished. Alrighty, so the chicken and dumplings are finished. The whole thing is nice and thick and wonderful. So I'm just going to scoop it up and feed that hungry hubby of mine. So here's a good flaky biscuit for him. Get lots of chicken in the bowl. Some good dumplings. And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and feed this hungry hubby of mine. I hope y'all give this recipe a try. It's super easy, very budget friendly. The rotisserie chicken from Sam's was about $5. I used the same chicken not only for the meat, but I made my homemade broth and just seasoned it up with some dumplings and half and seasonings. It's very easy and delicious, very budget friendly. So I hope y'all give this video a like and a thumbs up. Subscribe for me, help me grow the channel, and I hope y'all give it a try. Until next time, my name is Emily from Bama Base, where I find peace in my garden and joy in my kitchen. Bye, y'all.